Hi, and thanks for clicking on this video. Today I wanted to talk about my art, and how at one point it almost killed me. Content warning for mental health and suicide. Hollowed Sorrow is 2 years old today. It was a 3-part project that I started in 2020 and released in 2021, consisting of a hidden ARG, 14-track music album, and 3,000-word short story Luctus. The theme of the album was life, and more importantly, what happens when it ends. It also juggles themes of society, religion, politics, humanity, and mental illness. It's dark, heavy, and can be pretty anxiety-inducing to listen to, as multiple people have told me. And while, yes, that was the intent, and I'm glad to know it did its job somewhat well, in hindsight, I see a much cruder and messier project than I remember, and realising that has made me pay more attention to where I place my effort in ongoing projects. Like any good creator, I spent hundreds of hours on this project, working on it daily, researching, writing, composing, recording Foley, practicing my instrumentation, sound design, making promotional art and animation, the list goes on and on. I remember being miserable, forcing myself to approach the same negative topics day after day, things like loss, fear, and decay, and as I confronted the thoughts of death daily, it made me suicidal, a feeling I'm unfortunately intimately familiar with. It also, rather worryingly, made me begin to personify the Grim Reaper, manifesting him as a worldly entity I could explore and understand, in a vague attempt to rationalize and rewrite the experience of human death itself. Luctus explores all of this in greater detail, but I'll talk more about that a bit later. I put my soul into this project, cried for it, bled for it, as it had demanded. And when it finally came time to release the damn thing, I had this to say. Typically with emotional music, I try and balance out the dark with the light. When I released Hollowed, however, I couldn't find the light at all. I was completely hopeless, beyond miserable. I was possessed with a bleakness I'd never felt before. Words in any language and expression will never be enough to explain the feelings of pure misery, apathy, anger, and simultaneous complete blackout of emotion that I was experiencing during the aftermath of the project's release. I poured my heart out, wrung it dry of all its blood, rooted out every last piece of soul in my body, entirely casting myself aside and relinquishing all control to this unimaginably imaginary third party, my own personal reaper. I got too attached to my work, letting it corrupt and infest me, invading my job, social life, and other hobbies, possessing my every waking and sleeping thought. I had night terrors. I depicted all of my family, friends, and co-workers dead in vivid detail. I destroyed myself, and no one cared. This one's gonna hurt, boys. This one's gonna really fucking hurt. The night before release, I locked myself in my room, got drunk, and cried hysterically while I sang along to each song. I wanted to hurt myself. I wanted to leave everything behind. I wanted to be forgotten, hoping I would suffer a fatal car crash, praying my internal organs would fail, dreaming about my home being invaded and getting murdered. Anything to let me meet my Reaper. Can't fucking see anything. If somebody thought Brighyard was bleak, they're in for a fucking surprise with Hollowed, my fucking god. I was so utterly convinced that by the time I released the project, I would be dead in some way, granted my wish, and I spent those first few weeks after release living in the darkest place I could conjure. I showed up to work each day with messier hair, darker eyes, and a more hoarse voice. I started losing my temper with customers, became more argumentative, less empathic, hoping, praying that my actions would get me fired, or better, assaulted. I wanted to make enemies. I wanted to make people feel as soul-crushingly empty as I did. I wanted to destroy, and be burned alongside my destruction. I'd created my own apocalypse, and it almost killed me. But I tricked myself into believing that's what I truly wanted, that my Reaper was real, and was waiting for me, and that I could meet him before he took me. Hollowed Sorrow as a whole was meant to serve as a personal journey for the listener. I wanted you to fully confront the reality of your own death, the loss of what makes you an individual, the uncomfortable fading of your essence in the minds of your loved ones, your hobbies and passions left eternally unfinished, abandoned by their author, consumed by time. And Looked At, the 3,000-word short story I wrote alongside the album, exists to introduce you to Death, my Reaper, a servant of the goddess Life, and integral part of all existence in conceivable creation. He walked you through a darkened void, spirits of colour twinkling in the distance, dark streaks of red and blue hues trailing of what constitutes the sky, a fiery sun suspended in a forlorn eclipse, forever watching over this land of empty twilight. He told you of your life, and of your loss, and comforted you as each step you took painlessly shedded your skin and flesh until nothing was left of you but your soul, your very essence, of which burned brightly in the deadened, lulled silence. He saw you for what you were, and appreciated your company, guiding you until he came to the end of his road. He follows the trail of your remains back to the start of his path, questioning himself and his own life after seeing so many others end. It's a somber, delicate, and unknowable recreation, or perhaps a beautiful reimagining, of an otherwise frightening concept, and I really enjoyed writing it. To my knowledge, only 3 people have ever read the full story, myself included. I'm not going to link it in the description, as that would ruin the magic of completing the ARG needed to access it. So to celebrate Hollowed Sorrow's 2-year anniversary, the Bandcamp edition is 50% off until August 12th, 2023. So I encourage giving the album a listen, and if you want to see the bonus content, you'd be supporting me in the process with a purchase. The ARG is still publicly available for you to explore, and it's up to you to find the password to unlock the secrets and venture behind the door. So, what did I learn from this experience? I learned not to get too wound up in my art, to stay involved and passionate but not compulsive, and to not let it control my emotions and well-being. To assess the themes and heart of the project without becoming sub-attached that I'm killing myself just to bring it to life. To take a more measured approach to the mediums of which I work in, and to better plan out my goals for future projects. My latest album, 2023's To Take a Life, is the album Hollowed Sorrow wanted to be. It's a stronger, more confident, cohesive and faithful expression of themes than what came before, and an evolution in the Nomad Communion's method of audio storytelling. I highly encourage you to listen to the full hour of content, all of which is free to listen to on YouTube and Spotify. The Bandcamp version offers high-quality FLAC downloads of each song, both with and without the Foley and voiceover, with instrumentals for the vocal songs too. I hope you let yourself experience it, because it's something I'm super passionate about, and really proud of. It's worth mentioning that I'm in a different place now mentally. Better is a strong word, so I'll avoid using it, but I'm definitely happier overall now, and more creatively fulfilled than ever. Hollowed Sorrow served as a huge milestone for me, showcasing my growth as both a musician and a writer, and hopefully being inspirational in some form or other. As difficult as it was to face, and as haunted as it left me, I'm grateful I had the chance to put myself out of my comfort zone and experience a different, darker side of myself, as it served to strengthen my resolve in the process. That's where we end it for today. Thank you for watching, for listening, and for supporting a small musician however you can. I appreciate it more than I can express. Remember, Hollowed Sorrow is now 50% off until the 12th of August 2023, and you can always enter discount code HOLLOW10 at checkout for an additional 10% off. Take care, and stay safe.